I am a third, almost fourth year Ph.D. student in chemical engineering at CMU. My project is developing a rapid test for what we call adventitious agents, which is just a fancy name for infectious bacteria and viruses. This is a technique that can be applied in any circumstance where you would want to look for the presence of a virus or bacteria.
Put plainly, you guys are looking at a way to detect viruses in a much more rapid fashion.
Yeah, exactly. That is the main goal. And because it's an industry-funded project, their interest is really like speed and how do we find an infection faster, as fast as possible.
So this could have a huge impact on this industrial vaccine production, from having to wait weeks testing these vaccine lines to, being able to tell within minutes if this virus is present. That could be a huge financial savings. Is that right?
Right. So if you've discovered an infection right at the beginning of your manufacturing, you can just scrap that and start over immediately.
So if you guys are successful and you can detect the virus in under 10 minutes, is there any reason that couldn't be used to detect a virus like COVID in a human patient?
No, the technique is the same. And as we like to say, that this is something that can be applied in any circumstance where you would want to look for the presence of DNA and RNA. So if you want to look for the presence of coronavirus RNA, then you can do that with this test.
This is a big team effort in Jim Snyder's lab. Can you talk about your piece of the puzzle? What are you specifically working on in this group?
Previously, Jim Snyder's group has really worked really hard on developing this technique to analyze DNA samples really, really fast. And so that is where we get analysis time of under 10 minutes. And so when I came in, I was looking to apply this specifically to viruses and detecting other things rather than just normal random DNA samples that we would find. And so my piece in this is really, developing this technique so that it can be used in viral detection.
How has the collaborative atmosphere at Carnegie Mellon aided your research?
So I think this project, and along with me as a researcher, has really benefited from the expertise in different parts of Carnegie Mellon, and it has really benefited from the collaborative environment that CMU is in. The probe, the molecular probe that we are using to target these viral genomes, was actually invented by a professor over at Mellon in chemistry. Really a lot of parts that come together that make this work.
With coronavirus out there, does that kind of change how you think about doing your work? Does it give you kind of a reinforced sense of purpose when you're going into the lab every day?
Yeah, I would say, I think so. And I love my project. I always did. It could be something that we see maybe many years down the line in our normal everyday life. If you were just to get sick and then they needed to test you for some flu strain or something like that. It's kind of cool to see that the research that I'm doing could potentially impact a normal person's life.